Now, I don't want to come off as ignorant, but is it Reggie or is it Regis Labrie? Because I tried Googling the pronunciation and it flirted back and forth in between the two of them, and I don't know which one is the right one. Reggie Labrie rolls off the tongue a lot more, so I'm kind of inclined to go for it, but I'm doing that at the risk of being a little bit disrespectful. I'm only going with it because the S is silent in Labrie, so maybe it could be in Regis, which I've just used Regis as well, so it makes no sense what I'm saying. I'm going to call him Reggie in the video, but for the love of God, don't get annoyed with me because I'm doing so. I'm just doing it because I think it's the best, but I'm fully aware that I could be wrong. And his tactics at Sunderland, what a weird introduction that was. 6 points out of 9, and the one game that they did lose, you could argue it was the one they should have gone and beaten against promotion rivals Burnley away from home, so it's not an easy fixture by any means. But to get 3 points at home against Brentford and then 3 points at home against West Ham on opening day, I think just signifies where this Sunderland team are going to get their points and the quality they have at home and what the stadium can do. It's a Premier League ground that's been missing from the Premier League for a number of years, and I think we're all happy to have it back, aren't we? It feels right. It feels like this should have been the case all along, if not for poor running of a club. But we're back. I'm going to use the Brentford game as my examples for what I'm about to display here. And the quality of this Sunderland team is it's got a little bit of everything in terms of it's got that modern technical quality in terms of keeping possession and positional rotations to try and open a team up. It's got the ability to go direct through channel runs. It's got a set piece threat, great pressing team off the ball as well, especially in counter pressing scenarios. So it seems very adaptive. It seems like there's a lot of freedom allowed to the players as well in terms of not to just be stuck into a position, but to go and engage and join in the play if there's space available. And they do seem to work on a very tight positional rotational system. But I'm going to go over several examples I've seen from this team in the way they build up. And this is straight from the build up. And now, as you can see here, we've got this guy. The goalkeeper, Roofs, I believe his name is. Hopefully, I've gotten that right because I can't start this video off with two mispronunciations. And he is an integral part of this build-up. As you can see here, he's in between the centre-backs, who are extremely wide. If I just draw this line between them now, I mean, that is outside the width of the box. That is a massive amount of space between them. But as you can see, you have Roofs, the goalkeeper, forming that centre part. Brentford were an aggressively pressing team. As you can see, they're just going with the two strikers in Damsgaard and Igor Thiago, with also Granit Xhaka as the pivot, looking to fill just in front of that defensive line. So it's almost a diamond of sorts, if you can see it from that case. But that forwards is there too. It's easy to outnumber. If they can't play through to Xhaka, and that's where Brentford are going to look to protect the most, and they can play it to the outside centre backs, as they did in what I'm about to show you here. So the ball goes to Alderate at left back, and again, hopefully that's another pronunciation. They've signed so many players, it's not even funny. And he's been able to take the ball up the field now. As you can see, he's on the outside of Damsgaard, so he's been allowed to travel with the ball. Sunderland have recruited some very technical, very comfortable centre-backs when it comes to possession of the ball. So he's got that freedom. And I'm going to pinpoint two players here. So this is Siddiqui, the midfielder on his side, and this is Enzo Lafay, who's playing as the left winger in this team. And they're both making movements towards him. They're showing for the ball almost. And look, there's Jordan Henderson and there's Coyote. These two who are drawn towards them, they're connected to those two players, so they're attracted to their movements more so. And as they're going towards those players who are dropping in a little bit, who are coming up the field towards Eldorate, there is space in behind them. And this is something Sunderland do fantastically, is they will create space artificially for other players to exploit. And then what happens? What is free there is that channel in behind. And there's Ronaldo from left back bombing on, as you can see here, coming up from his position. He's been allowed to overlap and attack that space because of how deep the players on his side have come. You've even got Mayende here, who's coming in from his centre forward position to potentially look for the channel ball. If Ronaldo couldn't get there, he was prepared to make that movement and get behind it. And there's something very almost therapeutic about a channel ball in 2025. Like, we can have all these phases of play, these styles, these different tactical paradigms. Bugger it, just go long and hope your striker can get on the end of it on the outside of the centre back. It's wonderful. So they're down the wide areas, they've got space now, they've got a promising opportunity, and they've created that through the movements of players, just drawing players away, creating space, and then allowing the freedom for a player like Ronaldo, who's a left back, to go and attack that. He's got that availability to do so. And there's another example of this here. Eldorate again on the ball, very comfortable, by the way. I thought he was excellent in this game, a very technically high level centre back. Played a lot of his career in Spain, so that's not a shock. So what you can see here is Siddiqui, who is the midfielder who's playing in the sort of left eight, the left attacking midfield position, stretching very wide. He's coming out into that area here. He's bringing his marker with him. If I just draw a line towards him in this position, as you can see there, his head is almost facing towards Siddiqui. He's coming wide. And that in turn is creating space. There's now space in between him and Yarmouk in the middle. And then this gives the invitation for Labrie, who's playing on the left wing in this team, because he's got Siddiqui in his position. He's now come into that left eight, left attacker midfield position. So those two have just essentially swapped around and tried to pull that Brentford shape apart, and he's been able to create a clearer passing option from feet, from Alderate, who's picked that pass out. Nothing comes of it. As you can see here, the pass direction is going back to Alderate, but just that little bit of movement can create space. And you could argue he's actually taking the easy option and going back. Because of that space, he has time to turn on the inside. And then look, if he was to turn on the inside, you have this, and this he could hit. Because Brentford have a very narrow midfield when they go to press. They engage with a midfield three in their defensive shape. So if they were to come across, there's a potential wide overload on that side. But he doesn't. He goes back, but that doesn't stop with the positional rotations for Sunderland. Doesn't stop them trying to create the perfect opportunity. So as you can see here, Siddiqui, who's in that left wing position almost, has now made a run. He's looking to get him behind. And what does that do when a player makes a run? It creates space elsewhere. And then look, as you can see, there's Ronaldo looking to get him behind and get into the position that Siddiqui was once in. It gets Sunderland higher up the pitch, gets player in more advanced positions. It means that Brentford have to drop, and you've got more attacking players and more attacking positions, and you can overload. And you can see here, Alderate is showing great comfort in going onto his left and looking for those options, whether that be into Ronaldo or maybe even go along with another channel ball into Siddiqui high up in that position. Again, just examples of the fluidity. Doesn't just come through wide overloads either, which they're very good at. It also comes centrally. So there's now Mukiele on the ball, right centre back. He's got Xhaka alongside him, showing on the outside of Igor Thiago. And who's showing for it? That's the striker, who's dropped lower than every other player in that Sunderland team, other than Xhaka, who's probably one of the most fixed positions on this pitch as the pivot, with the two centre backs who are obviously very fixed. Dropped in behind his midfielders, his wingers, his fullbacks to get on the ball. He's rolled his marker. That comes from the freedom allowed in this plan from Labrie to encourage his players to create openings and exploit space where it comes. Nobody was doing it. Mayenda's dropped and he's turned. And you can see from that picture there how well he's rolled his marker. And then what happens? He's in an attacking position now. He's running towards the Brentford box, and you've got this Ronaldo, Siddiqui, Lafay, Diarra, and this guy running up here. I can't work out if that's Talby or Hume from this picture, but attackers, runners, they're getting in behind, they're pulling that defensive line back and creating options. As you can see here, Ronaldo's completely free on that left-hand side if he can find that pass. So the freedom to come and drop, and then players attacking the box, getting into dangerous areas and exploiting. And it's so good to watch. And if it's not attacked through the central, if they're going back into the wide areas, I've got to learn to clear all the drawings. Then those wide overloads can sometimes result in crossing opportunities, but not in a crossing opportunity where you sort of would expect. It's not from a player looking to cross right close to the byline in this position to get a whip cross across the edge of the box and find the big target man. No, as you can see here, there is the player deeper than the box. He's outside the line of the box. It's a deeper cross than normal. And I think it's smart because I feel like it's almost lulling the opposition into a false sense of security, because many would expect that to be the business area. That's where the danger is going to come from. And then a pass back is almost an opportunity for the defensive team to reset, maybe push up a little bit. But the pass back is where the Sunderland attack just gets even meatier, because you can see here the player that's arriving far away from box, relatively deep. He's about 20 yards, 25 yards up the pitch, and he's ready to rifle it in with his left foot. And you've got players in the box, as you can see. You've got Isidore at the front post. You've got Diarra coming in. You've got Adingra coming in far post. So those right-sided attackers, they're getting ready to get into the box. Obviously, Isidore's a fantastic physical threat. And having that option to be able to hit from these situations and really good deliverers of the ball from those deeper areas is a hard thing to defend. I don't really feel like players nowadays, defenders, are conditioned to sort of defend that type of cross and get into good positions. So full credit. And there's one thing that I think Labrie has done fantastically. It's all well and good having these modern ideas of how to play football the quote-unquote right way, but you've got to have a bit of that meat. You've got to know what a certain club requires. And Sunderland are a northeast club. Get stuck in, physical, aggressive, meaty challenges, 50-50s. They love that. And there's this little sequence I'm going to show you. I'm going to quickly run through it because I feel like it's better if I show you this in as quick a pace as possible. So as you can see, Brentford on the ball here, tried to play out, and now they're quick, they're closing down, they're counter pressing. I think they've just lost the ball from this scenario. There's three players there in and around the player on the ball. Jordan Henderson, I think that's Nathan Collins, in close proximity, but they're ready to go. So they're closing in. There you go. The player's closing on Nathan Collins now. He's getting against him, being physical. They're still looked into that area. Bang, meaty sliding challenge, physical, aggressive, not letting up. Don't win the first challenge, going for the second challenge, and just keep battling, keep fighting. And then what do you get? Sometimes little things like that can turn a game, can create a little bit of a moment that can get a team over the line. And look at this now. The Sunderland players there, all facing the crowd. You can see by their body language, they're pumped. And then look at the crowd there. Look at the reaction that they're getting off of it, how they're working in tandem. And that is why I think Sunderland have a great chance of staying up, because those little moments that I can't tactically analyse as much as I'm trying to here. They just create a certain buzz in the stadium that will help get them over the line. You feed off that momentum, you feed off that atmosphere, you feed off that emotion. And it's great to see that that is still retained in this modern version of Sunderland, whatever it just happens to look like. And what I love about all of this, by the way, just everything I've spoken about so far, is I feel like the winning goal had an element of everything in it in this game. They won it late on in the 96th minute, and I'm just going to go over it now. So as you can see here, Ronaldo here is winning the ball back. He's the left back. He's almost in an attacking midfield striker position, winning the ball back. He's had a counter-pressing opportunity. He sees an opportunity to go and win the ball, and he's got that freedom to do so. He does so. The ball goes to Granit Xhaka. And look at this now. You've got Bris, who was into a left attacking midfield position, is attacking the channel, looking to get in behind, find space, exploit space. And does Granit Xhaka have the passing quality to find them? Of course he does. That's not in question at all. He's got the freedom, and it feels like he's got the right to go and attack what he sees as available. He gets the ball. He needs someone to show for it. He needs someone coming in support. It can't be Ronaldo. He went winning the ball on the halfway line. But you've got to have players that have the freedom and the comfort to go and leave their position, play with a bit of risk, to go and leave a vacant position elsewhere, to get on the end of something and sustain an attack. And Captain Granit Xhaka getting into this position here to receive the pullback from his sixth position. I just spoke about before how he had one of the more disciplined roles in this team. No, there's a game to win here. The crowd are up. They're buzzing. There's a position where he can get on the end, and it's a deep cross. As I was just saying before, a very, very deep cross. Brentford are caught at the back. There's three players in the box. And again, this just emphasises, I think, the mentality of Regis Bris that I can only imagine has made him ever so popular in Sunderland. They're 1-1, so they're not losing the game. You know, a point against Brentford isn't a terrible result, but you have Isidore at the front post. You have Mark Guay, who has come on for Mukiele, a centre-back, because he went off injured. Didn't sub him for a centre back or a right back or whatever, just to try and, maintain the shape of whatever they were going. No, striker for a centre back. Let's go and win this game. Let's play with aggression, play with intensity. And you've got two strikers as well as a dinger at the back post, ready to get on the end of that Xhaka cross. And he delivers it expertly, and it's a fantastic header from Isidore. And Sunderland, through showing both sides of the game, go on to win. And I can't be more complimentary about it. They've been a breath of fresh air in the Premier League so far, and I hope to God they stay up doing it this way, because it'll just be great to see, and we can't have another case where it's the promoted teams going down. But I'd love to know what you guys think. Let us know down below. Like the video if you liked it, dislike it if you disliked it, all that jazz. Subscribe if you want to see more, and I'll see you in a bit.